The root doctor's ledger. I can still hear their laughter, the hollow sound of it echoing in my mind like a sinister wind whispering my failures. Spiritual pest control, they scoffed. What a ridiculous obsession. It was my mother's voice dripping with disdain, just like the others. I was 15 when I first mentioned it, my fascination with the old ways of pest removal, the folklore of root spirits, and the whispers of the land. They called it madness. Said I'd disgrace the family. Their words cut deeper than the sharpest blade, but the pain of their disbelief only fueled my resolve. Years passed, and I found myself wandering the shadowed paths of cursed fields, harvesting the remnants of what once thrived. I became a botanical exorcist, though few understood the gravity of that title. I was shunned, exiled to the outskirts of sanity. Yet the spirits I summoned were real, and so was the blight that devoured the crops in my hometown, the very crops that had been the pride of my family. When I returned home, it was with a heart weighed down by the knowledge I had uncovered. The world outside my hometown had begun to recognize me, not as a disgrace, but as a warning. My research had led to chilling truths that society dared not confront. The infestation was not just a blight, but a manifestation of something darker, something that thrived on denial. Fear had become my closest companion, wrapping around me like a sinister cloak. I pulled into the familiar driveway, the old oak tree standing sentinel over my childhood home, its gnarled roots twisting like the whispers I had come to know so well. The laughter of my childhood echoed in the distance, but now it was accompanied by the low hum of dread. I could feel the weight of their disbelief, the years of mockery pressing down on my shoulders like an iron shroud. I was here to confront them, to unveil the horrors that had become my reality. As I stepped inside, the air was thick with tension. My family stood there, their faces a mixture of shock and disbelief. "You're back," my father said, his tone a mix of bewilderment and caution. They hadn't expected me to return, not after all the years I had spent unraveling the mysteries of the unseen. "What's that you're holding?" my mother asked, her eyes narrowing at the bundle I clutched. It was a tangle of roots, dark and twisted, wrapped in a cloth stained with the remnants of my work. "You're still playing with that witchcraft?" But I wasn't there to defend myself. I stepped closer, revealing the roots to them. "These are the spirits of the land," I said, my voice steady. "They're the key to understanding the blight. They could save the crops, but only if you accept the truth." Their laughter turned to silence, the kind that fills a room with an oppressive weight. "You've lost it, haven't you?" my brother finally muttered, shaking his head in disbelief. But I could see the flicker of something else, fear. That night, I set up the ritual in the backyard, under the ghostly light of a waning moon. The air crackled with energy as I placed the roots in a circular formation. Whispering incantations I had learned from the ancient texts, my family watched, their expressions shifting from ridicule to unease. "Are you sure about this?" my sister asked, her voice trembling. "This is the only way," I replied, my heart racing. The spirits needed to be called forth, to reveal the truth of what lay beneath the surface. As I chanted, the ground began to tremble. The roots writhed like serpents, pulling energy from the earth as shadows danced around us. I could see it then, the dark essence that thrived on their disbelief. A swirling mist began to rise, coalescing into a figure that was both beautiful and terrifying, a manifestation of the land's pain, a reminder of the crop's suffering. "Stop it!" my father shouted, backing away. But it was too late. The air thickened with a palpable dread, the entity before us revealing the true cost of their denial. My mother's face paled as the spirit turned, its eyes like smoldering coals. Locking onto her, You laughed at me, I murmured, my voice barely above a whisper. Now you see what happens when we ignore the truth. Time seemed to stretch as the spirit reached out, its tendrils curling around my family, drawing forth their fears, their buried guilt. I felt a surge of power, the knowledge I had gained coursing through me. They had ridiculed me for years, but now they were witnesses to the truth I had fought to understand. Please, my mother pleaded, tears streaming down her face. We believed you were crazy. And you were wrong, I replied, my heart heavy but resolute. You mocked the darkness, and now it's here. With a final, shattering scream, the spirit shattered into 1,000 whispers, leaving my family trembling, shattered by the weight of their ignorance. As the night settled back into an eerie calm, I turned to face them, their expressions twisted in horror. I'm not the disgrace you thought I was, I said quietly, a deep sense of vindication washing over me. I'm the one who survived. In that moment, I saw the truth reflected in their eyes, the realization of what they had lost, the knowledge that their denial had cost them more than just my sanity. The weight of my journey hung heavy in the air, a chilling reminder of the horrors that lay beneath the surface of our world, waiting for those who dared to confront them. As I walked away from the house that had once been my sanctuary, I felt the shadows gather around me, not as foes, but as allies. I had become the very thing they had feared, a harbinger of truths that would haunt them forever. The roots of my past were entwined with the spirits of my present, a legacy, a horror that would linger long after my departure. In the dark, I smiled. They had mocked me, but now they knew. Some truths are better left buried.